First stop Chicago, and then it's on to Phoenix as we bring you another playoff doubleheader tonight on TNT. Good evening, everybody. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Joining us for the next two nights, the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, Mike Dunleavy. Mike, nice to have you with us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
We're going to see a couple of teams you see a lot of being in the Central Division, Chicago and Cleveland tonight. And the season series goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They won 3 out of 5, including the last 3 in a row. And I guess the key here, look what they did to Michael Jordan. Held him, and I use that term loosely, to 27, but it is below his average.
Well, everything that they have done during this offseason has been geared to this series right here, trying to stop Michael Jordan. Elo has done a good job in the past, but they needed help, so they went out and they got Gerald Wilkins to come in and help with that duty.
Cavs aren't playing that great, though, kind of a sluggish series against New Jersey.
Well, the key to it for them is Mark Price. Mark Price, one of the premier point guards in this league, has not had a great series against the Nets.
36%, as a matter of fact.
Poor shooting performance, and they bring in the shot doctor, his dad, all the way from Oklahoma, because he's the guy Mark has the confidence in to fix his shot. And it'll be interesting to see how he does in his first game.
Calling on dear old dad for some help. How about game 2 of our doubleheader? You got the Suns, and you got the Spurs, you got Barkley, you got Robinson. What more do we have to say?
Well, that's the key matchup right there. You'll probably have Robinson guarding Barkley down the on offense, where he can take away his low post game, and yet he's got the feet quick enough to play Barkley off the dribble. The other problem exists at the other end for Phoenix, having to guard Robinson in the low post. They really don't have the size unless Oliver Miller can come in and do the same type of job he did against the Lakers.
It's going to be a dream team matchup, the Spurs and Suns, game 2 of our doubleheader. Game 1 is just a few minutes away. The Cavs and the Bulls from Chicago. Michael Jordan and company back to work after 6 days off. Gerald Wilkins and the Cavs try to put the clamps on the champs next.
Chicago, Illinois, Eastern Conference semifinals. They're at the Madhouse on Madison Street, the home of the world champion Chicago Bulls. This is game 1 of the Eastern Conference semis. The Cleveland Cavaliers, who got past New Jersey 3-2, and the Bulls, who swept Atlanta with very little difficulty, set to do battle once again. The playoff routine for these Chicago Bulls, going way back to 1988, 4 of the last 6 years, has been brush their teeth, call the agent, buy a new Mercedes, and beat the Cavs. In 88, they got them 3-2. 89, 3-2, first rounders. And last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Bulls seem to feel, when it comes playoff time, that they own the Cavaliers. How are the Cavaliers going to overcome that psychological?
Well, Bob, let me tell you something. There's been a lot written in the papers the last couple of days about how easy this series is going to be for Chicago. Lenny Wilkins is hoping that Chicago has read every one of those articles. He's hoping that they don't take this team serious. He feels he's sold them on a couple of points. Number one, he feels that they've had success. They won 3 out of 5 this year against Chicago. The other thing is, he's hoping that, or he's trying to make that 5-game series against the Nets a positive. He says that series got them up emotionally where they need to be for this series.
And remember last year when the Bulls swept Miami, they came in and lost the first game to the New York Knicks. Now, let's talk about a problem Cleveland and everybody has, the Jordan problem.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? You know Jordan's going to get his points. The thing that Cleveland feels real good about, though, is they brought Gerald Wilkins in, and they feel Gerald, with his quickness off the bench, can match up against Michael. Wilkins will get a lot of minutes. No one can stop Michael alone. They'll need help.
All right, how about the big picture? What are the keys to this series?
Well, I think a couple things really have to be pointed out for the winner of this series. Number one, I think Cleveland must keep Chicago off the offensive boards, and then particularly Horace Grant. He loves to get to the boards against Cleveland. He can do that. The other thing they must do is slow it down. They have to make this a half-court game. If they do not, it's going to be a runaway for Chicago.
One thing for sure, these two teams know each other very well. In the last 6 years, they've played each other 48 times. Number 49 comes up in just a moment. We'll have the starting lineups and the tip-off right after this. Jack Gibbons with you from Chicago Stadium. It's time for the Jeep Eagles starting matchups. You talked about Jordan and Elo, and then later Wilkins will be playing Jordan. What about the other key matchups?
Well, of course, Price has not played all that well. Did not play all that well in the first series, so how he plays in this game is going to be important. Larry Nance is the guy that helps out a lot on defense, and that's the reason why I pointed out Grant's ability to get to the offensive boards. Cleveland will have to have rotation away from the ball when Nance goes to help out.
Lenny Wilkins, the winningest active coach in the NBA. He is second in total wins only to the legendary Red Auerbach, who, by the way, underwent some heart exploratory surgery, and we wish him very well in Boston, as we'll be thinking about him at this game tonight. And Phil Jackson, who has 2 rings to show for his tenure as head coach of the Chicago Bulls. Enough said about Phil Jackson and his Bulls. They are well rested. When last we left the Bulls, they were beating Atlanta in Atlanta. Michael Jordan sprained his ankle, left the court, had to be carried away, came back out, seemed to be okay, tells us now that his ankle's okay. Mark Price playing with a sprained right thumb on his shooting hand, and Lenny Wilkins thinks that Mark Price slump maybe more in his head than in his hand. One of the reasons that his dad was brought in.
Well, they have taken that brace off of his hand to try to work on him mentally. They felt like that was a crutch, something that he could just think about. They have taken that off, and they want him to play just all out here in this game.
Price with a near steal to open things up. Bulls with the ball. Scottie Pippen, who's averaging only 15 points in the playoffs, below his average. And Bill Cartwright, who's come back renewed. He opens. Cartwright injured much of the season, but against Atlanta, he looked as though he had fresh legs.
Well, and another key, as we mentioned, they've had a lot of rest. They've been able to get Bill a lot of time off the floor, and he does feel good and is playing very well. His movement is very good.
Good pass inside to Larry Nance. He misses his jump hook. It's 2-0 Chicago. B.J. Armstrong, the point guard. Jordan at the 2. Here's Cartwright out of that triangle offense. Jordan from 19.
Well, maybe that answers the question as to whether or not Chicago was going to be ready after taking about 6-7 days off.
Jordan guarding Craig Elo. Armstrong on Mark Price. There's the penetration in the dish.
They'll run a lot of people at Mark Price.
Elo with the penetration. Shot clock down to 7. Sanders, not normally a scoring threat, is fouled on the ground. No, they're going to call it a 3-second violation. That'll be a turnover. And the Bulls, leading it 4-0, will get the ball back.
Brad Daugherty never cleared the lane. Of course, the shot probably should have gone up before. He had real good position. Didn't want.
Brad Daugherty, the all-star center.
Now they'll keep going into Bill Cartwright as long as he continues to make something happen with it. And that will be maybe the last time he touches it. They will probably go somewhere else.
That was something. It was unfortunately a turnover for Chicago. Mark Price being defensed by B.J. Armstrong. Now the double team. Here comes Jordan. Daugherty with the ball. The lean in looking for the foul. Didn't get it. Pippen. The running of the Bulls. Sanders with the foul. His first.
You know, one matchup we haven't talked about is the matchup between Cartwright and Brad Daugherty. Of course, Brad has been scoring a lot, as he normally does. Chicago will help out. Another thing, Chicago will run at Mark Price to try to force him to give it up.
4-0 Chicago. 2 minutes gone in the first quarter. Jordan with the drive on Sanders. Nance got there too late to help out. Sanders is not going to be able to defend Jordan one-on-one. They've got guys who can do a better job on that in Elo and Wilkins. Bulls are 3 for 3.
Chicago uses the pick and roll an awful lot. They use it a lot, and what you don't want to do against that pick and roll is switch, because that puts a guy that is far too slow against Michael Jordan. Now you see the isolation here, and Michael just makes the move to the baseline. Sanders tries. Nance comes over, as he always will do, but Michael makes that one anyway.
Nance got a piece of it. Jordan just moved the ball an inch or two and put it in anyway. He's unbelievable. Craig Elo misses the jumper. Cavs are 0 for 3. Jordan misses the 3. Ball's out of bounds. It'll belong to Cleveland. Bulls lead at 6-0. That would have hurt the Cavs. Remember, they've got a confidence problem against these Chicago Bulls as it is.
Yeah, but when you win 3 in a row against Chicago, and that's what Cleveland has done, you have to feel better about yourself.
Mark Price with the turnover. He was looking to make a pass inside. B.J. Armstrong from 13 feet. It is 8-0, and Lenny Wilkins wants a 20-second timeout as the Bulls are running early in Chicago.
Well, see, Bob, there's been a lot of talk also about whether or not Chicago will come out and be ready to play. If you think back a couple years ago, they lost the first game to the Knicks in a series after having a long rest. Last season, they beat the Miami Heat in 3 games. They set out about five days also last year. They came out and they lost a game. Well, they lost last year against the Knicks. They lost before against the Lakers in the finals in the first game. A lot of concern as to whether or not they would be ready. You see that 4 or 5 from the field. They're running up and down the floor, getting the shots they want right now. Cleveland has yet to get a good shot at the basket.
0 for 3 are the Cavs with 2 turnovers. Regilo thought about the 3. Remember the Bulls, you can talk about offense all you want, but they live and die with their defense. So far, they're throwing a shutout. Mark Price with the leaner breaks the ice. Cleveland's first basket of the night.
Really the first time Mark Price has been able to work one-on-one against B.J. Armstrong. The Cavs did a good job that time spreading the offense.
Cavs also get a little better when they go to their bench. Armstrong with the drive. Easy penetration for Armstrong. Mark Price stopped by Jordan. A good pass to Elo, however. Nance fade away. No offensive board. Pippen on the run. B.J. Armstrong misses the 3. Knocked out of bounds by Chicago. Cleveland ball. Bulls leading it 8-2.
Well, no travel on that play by Pippen going to the basket because the official said someone touched it and knocked it free from his hand. Of course, Lenny Wilkins wanted the travel.
10 to shoot for the Cavaliers.
Great job, Bill Cartwright on Doherty down low.
Now 7. Shot clock in the lower left. That was a near controversial call. Jack Nees wanted to call offense. However, Paul Mahalik called defense. Wow, so the foul on Chicago.
Yeah, now you'll see these guys bumping around. And Paul called the foul first. Now there's Brad with the lean in. Cartwright with the hands on the body, though before the act of shooting. So he will not get the free throws here. That's a good matchup. I mentioned Chicago will like to run in there and help out Bill Cartwright. That time they allowed him to play him straight up.
End zone view of the floor at Chicago Stadium. 18,000 plus, standing room only again. The new building right across the street will be finished for next year. Nance into the lane, bounces to Elo for 3. Horace Grant with a big board. He goes down and may have turned his right ankle.
And Chicago will need a 20.
They get it, and Horace Grant is hurting. It's his right ankle.
Yeah, he came down on someone's foot, did not hesitate going to the floor. I mean, you could tell from the time his feet hit the ground that he was in pain.
Ankles have been a problem for the Bulls. Scottie Pippen is playing on a sore ankle. Michael Jordan hurt his in Game 3 against Atlanta, and now right here, Grant comes down against
really
the right
turns
foot.
it over.
Right there against, was it Sanders?
Yes, it was. Really turned it over that time, and he is in a lot of pain. They are helping him up. I tell you what, though, if you think back to the last time Chicago Bulls played and we saw one of their guys go down with a bad ankle, he came back in that game against Atlanta and had a tremendous game. Did Michael Jordan. Horace Grant might have the same kind of game.
Yeah, Horace walking off the floor, kind of testing that ankle to see how it is. The ankle is, as you know, as a former NBA player, Goose, it's very tricky. It can be really painful and not be hurt. It can be not too painful and hurt a lot. You just don't know when you twist it.
Well, the thing that you're going to have to do here, as you look at Grant, you'll see it again here. His ankle rolls all the way over, and I think it probably rolled over so far that it touched the ground on that other side. But I think you'll have to get a little more tape on that ankle, try to cut down on the mobility of it, and I think Grant will be able to play.
Jordan misses the flat jumper. Scott Williams is in for Grant and gets the offensive board. Doing his Horace Grant imitation. B.J. Armstrong missing. This time Nance with a rebound. The Bulls have gone cold from the perimeter after jumping out to an 8-0 lead, and they lead now 8-2 and have missed their last 4 shots.
Yeah, but they're still doing it defensively. Cleveland's still struggling to get good shots to basket.
Doherty pushed way away from the block by Bill Cartwright. 5 to shoot for Cleveland. Doherty's turnaround. No. Cartwright all over Doherty to start this ball game.
Now that fall away by Brad Doherty takes away all of the opportunities he might have to get to the offensive boards. Nance, normally the guy that's alone under the offensive basket for Cleveland.
Shot clock to 10 for Chicago. Pippen being guarded by the shorter Mike Sanders. Sanders right in his face, but Pippen drains it anyway.
Tough shot. I don't know that you can play Pippen any better than that. He throws it up and gets it to go.
The foul on B.J. Armstrong as Mark Price drives, and we're going to get the first substitution of the ball game. Gerald Wilkins will be in for the Cleveland Cavaliers right after this.
Score as the Bulls got off to a quick start. They have missed 4 of their last 5. You'll see it right here. Hold it right here now. You'll see how far that ankle rolls over as Grant comes up with the rebound, and boy, that has to be a lot of pain. I'll tell you what, they have worked on his ankle. They have put more tape on it. I really think you'll see him back. It's going to take a lot. There they are putting the extra tape on. As I say, the reason for that is to cut down on the mobility, to allow that ankle to move as little as possible.
Mark Price hits the 3, and he is on the board, and it's suddenly a 10-5 game. That's only the second field goal. Cleveland is 2 for 8, and Mark Price is 2 for 2. Nobody else has hit a field goal.
Price is so good at using the screen, and then the other thing he does so well is once he catches it, he can let it go about as quickly as anyone in this league.
And up until that offensive series, Chicago out-rebounding Cleveland 8-2. One of the things Goose Givens told you at the beginning of the game will be significant, and a key to who wins this will be the rebounding advantage. 10 to shoot for the Cavaliers. Nice lob pass inside for Brad Doherty from Larry Nance.
Well, just like Chicago does not want to switch that pick and roll. Oh, excuse me, Cleveland does not want to switch that pick and roll. I don't think Chicago does either. And that's the reason Brad Doherty will have the advantage with size down low.
Elo is guarding Pippen, and he's going to be called for the foul. Gerald Wilkins is in, and he's matched up with Jordan. Wilkins said he feels he can play Jordan as well as anybody in the league, and Michael Jordan said, if he feels that way, bring it on. I love the challenge.
Yeah, Wilkins will tell you that's why the Cavs have held Michael Jordan to 5 points below his average this year.
Elo with the Bill Cartwright miss.
There's that switch again. That always leaves someone open.
Nance can't find the someone, so he goes in hard. Blocked by Williams, gets his own offensive board. Good hard work by the veteran, Larry Nance.
Well, he's matched up outside against Cartwright. And as I say, Chicago doing a lot of switching right now, and they're getting in bad matchups, getting themselves in bad matchup problems. There's Grant coming back into the game. Williams takes a seat. But of course, Nance, with his quickness against Cartwright, will win that every time.
Good news for the Bulls as Grant twisted his right ankle. Let's see how limber he looks. They retaped it, running gingerly at the moment. The Cavs are on an 8-0 run, and it is tied at 10.
I think they need to go to Grant right now to try to get him into something, get his mind off of his ankle.
They're posting Jordan against Wilkins.
Yeah, Jordan just loves this. I mean, he just loves it.
Goes away and misses.
Yeah, there's Grant right there.
Offensive board.
Yeah, that's good. See, that takes his mind off of that ankle, gives him something positive to think about, and that'll make him more effective.
Pippen just hammered Mark Price with his leg, then B.J. Armstrong stripped him. Pippen is back. One touch off the hands of Pippen's Cleveland ball. 12-10 Bulls lead it. 4:48 to go first quarter.
Well, that's the reason to give it up if you're a guy like Pippen, because you're going to get it back. B.J. made the proper move that time. Pippen just was not ready.
Price down to Doherty, who's got a little bit better position. There's the double team. Elo's the open man. He wanted the 3, thought twice about it. Now the shot clock down to 6. Jordan left alone. Tipped back up and in by Pippen or Grant.
I think it was Grant again.
They're going to give it to Grant.
And as I say, the reason Grant is open so often going to the offensive board is because Nance is the guy that helps out a lot. And if you don't get the rotation on the weak side, he'll be there all night.
Gerald Wilkins misses from long range. 14-10 Bulls. Cartwright left totally alone on the baseline. He misses from the perimeter, but once again the offensive board stripped away from Scottie Pippen and the Cavaliers back.
Now, if you look at Cleveland's lineup, they are very small right now as Gerald Wilkins has entered the game, and Sanders has taken a seat on the bench, and that's the reason why they're able to get to the offensive board.
Craig Igalo lobs in to Larry Nance. Nance has 5. Bulls by 2, 3:16 to go, first quarter. This is Eastern Conference semifinals, first round action. B.J. Armstrong lost Mark Price on the pick and was open from 12.
Tell you what, they are getting really good screens away from the ball. Look at how many times already in this game Chicago has broken open for jump shots. Cartwright doing a good job of pushing Brad Daugherty out away from the block.
5 seconds to shoot. Good pass inside to Gerald Wilkins.
Rotation not there for Chicago. Good look by Brad. The leading center in assists this season once again.
He still can't get over that label of being soft.
Well, I think that's a problem with the whole Cleveland team. Gerald Wilkins is one of the guys that they have brought in to try to do away with that.
Cartwright takes down Daugherty, speaking of soft. The offensive foul called on Bill, and that is his second foul in the ballgame. He may go to the bench.
Now, you'll see, this has been very physical. I mentioned Cartwright has done a good job of pushing Brad out when Cleveland is on the offense. Now, you'll see the move right there. Maybe a little acting there. Cartwright picks up his second.
Will Perdue and Trent Tucker have checked in for the Chicago Bulls. Cartwright sits down with 2 fouls.
I talked about Grant's ability to get to the offensive boards. There he is. He just outworks everyone for the 2 points there.
Daugherty now against Will Perdue. Should have a strength advantage there. Elo for 3, and it gives the Cavs their first lead of the ball game.
Well, once again, Brad Daugherty is such a good passer. The defense comes for the double teams because they have to help out the center position. He has found the open man 2 or 3 times already in this game.
Bulls just now really getting into their offense with 9 seconds on the shot clock. They're posting Jordan against Wilkins. Backing in, Jordan extremely strong. Turnaround jumper, no. Daugherty rebound.
Now they're forcing the misses right now. Wilkins taking credit for that.
Mark Price penetrates all the way to the hoop and goes to his left hand. Mark Price has 7 points, including a 3-pointer.
Now, B.J. Armstrong has gotten beaten a couple times by Price. You might see Phil Jackson make the move, maybe come off the bench with a bigger team.
Horace Grant left alone in the corner. He missed from the perimeter. Daugherty outruns it. Bullet pass out in front to Nance for the jam. And the Cavaliers have a 5-point lead. 1:08 to go in the quarter. The Cavs on a 19-6 run in the last 5 minutes. It really got started when Grant turned his ankle.
Yeah, I think so, although Grant came back in and made a couple big plays. But yes, Cleveland has done the job. Number one, they're giving Chicago just 1 shot at the basket, their last 3 or 4 misses. The other thing they have done is they've gotten out on the fast break, and they've been able to get some points that way. I mentioned also that Brad Daugherty has done a really good job of finding the open man. Now, you're going to see the outlet right here. Brad just beats Will Perdue to this one. And then the pass to Nance, who fills the lane, gets out, and takes this one home.
You know, in the 3 of the regular season 5 games Cleveland won, when they won in at least two of those games, they scored above 50% in terms of field goal percentage. And one of the games shot nearly 60% against Chicago.
Yeah, that's really a key right there, because when Cleveland outshoots their opponent, they're something like 36-2 or something. They haven't lost many when they shoot the field goal percentage that they like to shoot. And of course, Cleveland, the #1 team in the league as far as field goal shooting is concerned this season.
Another doubleheader coming your way tonight on TNT as we continue our plethora of playoffs. Spurs and Suns. David Robinson takes his Spurs. They ousted the Portland Trail Blazers in Game 1 of that Western Conference semifinal against the Phoenix Suns, who came back from the dead. I mean, they were down 0-2 to the Los Angeles Lakers, won 2 games in Los Angeles and then one in overtime last Sunday to eliminate LA, and I think if anything, Goose, that'll help Phoenix.
Yeah, I think you're right. In both of those series, those unlikely heroes stepped up and played big. Of course, Oliver Miller in the Phoenix series played well. The guy that played really well for San Antonio, Willie Anderson, who hadn't played much this season, stepped up, gave him some really good minutes at the point guard spot. He was able to see over the Portland defensive players and got a lot of shots for his teammates. Should be a good series.
With the exception of the Chicago-Atlanta series, it's been a wonderful playoff run to get started here in 1993. Cleveland on a 19-6 run. They needed 21-16. Jordan puts a stop to that, as he has done so many times before.
You can expect that to happen right here. Jordan has that ability to take over a game, score 15, 16, 17 points in a row, and I think Chicago will give him a chance to do that right about now.
Jordan on Craig Ely, looking for Nance against Horace Grant.
Yeah, you got to try to go against Grant, see if he's going to be able to move. I think Nance needs to put it on the floor and try to create something off the grip.
Stripped away by Michael Jordan with 2 on the shot clock. Now 1 on the shot clock. We have only 29 seconds left in the first quarter. With the Cavs were down 8-0. They're going to set to lob it in.
Nice. They got it.
It rolled out of there. That would have counted. Hold everything.
Well, no. I thought they were going to call the violation.
Well,
are they going to let it go?
Jake O'Donnell started to call it, then didn't call it. Now they're letting it roll. 20 seconds to go in the quarter.
Well, I thought I heard a whistle blow. They never did take the ball out of bounds. They just started the clock back up and said, let's go.
Seen it all. 1 second differential in the shot in the game clock you see in the lower right and the left of your screen. 3 seconds. Jordan is fouled by Gerald Wilkins.
Yeah, this is the time that Michael Jordan's going to make Gerald Wilkins earn his money. He's talked a lot about how well he's going to play Michael in this series. I think the Bulls will just open it up, allow him to go one-on-one against Gerald Wilkins.
And that was a good foul, as the Cavs had a foul to give. That leaves only 4.6 seconds in the quarter, and the Cavs get an opportunity to reset their defense. Terrell Brandon gets in here for this final 4.5 seconds, as does John Paxson for Chicago.
Yeah, they're coming in with their offensive player. Will Perdue took a seat on the bench.
Their offensive player takes it straight to the hoop.
Man, did you see how quickly he got to the basket?
At the end of 1, the Cavs lead it 21-20, but the question remains, can Cleveland stop Michael Jordan? He once scored 69 points against this team. Chicago jumped out 8-0, then Cleveland 19-6. And Goose, let's have a look at the final 4.6 of that quarter.
Well, Bob, you're going to see this pick and roll. The first time Chicago has run it. Now, we'll hold it right there as Michael gets the ball. Now, you see all the action here. What you should have in this play is Nance stepping up right here to cut Michael off. That'll give Wilkins a chance to come around. They get the double team here, and that should stop it. Instead, Nance does not come up. Michael just goes right straight to the hole and gets to the basket here and gets the layup. They worked a lot on this play today in shoot-around. They do not want Michael getting around the corner and getting to the basket out of that pick and roll.
Full court pressure as we begin the second quarter. Gerald Wilkins bringing the ball up against Trent Tucker. It's Tucker, Pippen, Perdue, Grant, and Paxson on the floor for Chicago. Hot Rod Williams has checked in to the lineup for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Wilkins open for 3.
That's the shot right there that's going to have to go, because the double team will continue to be there for Brad.
Perdue goes in to help on Hot Rod Williams, who hands it off to Doherty for the lay-in.
Chicago understands they need a lot of help against Brad Doherty. They don't want him working one-on-one. The double team's going to come. Those shots from the outside for Cleveland will continue to be there the whole game.
10 seconds to shoot for the Bulls. Pippen posted against Elo. Gerald Wilkins on Trent Tucker. He can't beat him off the drive. Paxson with 2 to shoot. Perdue shoots the air ball. That'll be a violation. Turnover to the Cleveland Cavaliers. 23-20 Cleveland. 11:06 to go. First half of play. Cartwright on the bench for Chicago with 2 early fouls.
I think this lineup on the floor for Chicago has to take more advantage of Scottie Pippen against Elo with Michael Jordan on the bench. They haven't allowed him to touch the ball here. I think the next time down, you'll see Pippen touch it.
Yeah, Pippen is definitely a matchup problem for Cleveland. Hot Rod Williams. Fix it blocked. Run down by Elo. 3 seconds on the shot clock, remember. It didn't touch the rim. Did that time. Chicago the rebound. Paxson.
I think Pippen needs to create something here for himself. Gave it up that time quickly.
Now they've got Gerald Wilkins on Pippen. Tucker from about 25
Not a
feet.
good shot. 9 seconds left on the shot clock when that one went up.
Cavs by 3. Terrell Brandon, who's played so very well as Mark Price has been in the slump for Cleveland.
He played really big in Game 5. Big 10 points in that period when Mark Price went out of the game in early foul trouble as Elo comes up with the steal.
Brandon is going to just take that shot eventually. He doesn't have any confidence in it, and he missed it because of it.
Well, he lost control of it, and that threw his rhythm off. Still think Pippen has to be the guy here that picks it up offensively with Michael Jordan on the bench.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Now 6 seconds as it'll be Chicago's inbound on the far side. Phil Jackson does not like what he sees, and he's going to call a timeout with 9:39 to go in the first half of play from Chicago Stadium. The Cavaliers have held the Bulls to only 20 points.
Chicago might have set out just a little bit long after going through the Atlanta Hawks in the first round. You'll see Brad Daugherty right here catch it. Will Purdue understands that Brad has been having his way. He tried to get on top that time to force the pass not to come in. A nice pass from Terrell Brandon, and Brad Daugherty continues to have his way around the basket.
They have been scoring in the paint. When the ball game started, Chicago was scoring inside. They went to the perimeter due to the defense of Cleveland and have been struggling since then.
There's Pippen right there, but he gets that shot to roll around, but it's been a long time since he has had a shot.
Took 2.5 minutes for the Bulls to score here in the second quarter. It's 25-22, very low scoring game. All defense so far.
You know, John Williams trying to turn into a more of an offensive player for the Cavs. They have been calling him a lot here in the playoffs.
Spins into the lane, doesn't get it to go. He's got to play against Horace Grant. He's on the second team all-defensive team for the NBA this year. Cavs back quickly, leading it by 3.
I'll tell you one big difference in this game here the last 3 or 4 minutes is that the Cavs have given Chicago just one shot at the basket every time down.
John Williams misses. The rebound is tipped out by Daugherty and controlled by Sanders. New shot clock for the Cavs.
You know, John Williams' game is down around the basket. They'll give him that shot from the outside.
There's that interior defense. Gerald Wilkins runs down the loose ball, gets it to rattle home, and it is a 5-point Cavs lead with 8:31 to go in the half.
I've seen both of these teams look a whole lot better than what we've seen so far in this game. Cleveland, though, has to be happy with the 5-point lead.
Jordan and Scott Williams will be in this ballgame momentarily for Chicago. Danny Ferry is going to check in for Cleveland. He did not play in Game 5 of the Nets series.
There you go.
Sanders.
Now, see, that's just what I'm talking about right there. I think Pippen in that matchup could score as many points as he wants. I was really surprised Chicago didn't go to him here until the last 2 possessions. Michael Jordan back into the game.
He has 9 points. Trent Tucker will sit down, as will Horace Grant and Will Purdue.
Grant limping as he leaves the floor.
So let's see who Chicago has on the floor here. Scott Williams, Stacey King, Pippen, Paxson, and Jordan. Pippen has been struggling throughout the playoffs. And the Bulls have been struggling from the free throw line.
They're just not a very good free throw shooting team. And that's kind of surprising for a team that's had the success Chicago has, but they just don't have a lot of guys that can step up there and knock them down.
4-point Cavs lead. Terrell Brandon being defensed by Paxson. Jordan is on Sanders. Danny Ferry in the game. Nice pass to Williams down low. Jordan blocked it. Run down by Brandon. 4 to shoot. Terrell Brandon misses. Wilkins rebounds. Ripped away by Williams. Good offensive.
Yeah, we're talking about offensive.
Ferry hits a three.
Yeah, they make them pay. I mean, the offensive board work, we talked about Chicago's ability to get to the offensive board and the fact that they're one of the best offensive rebounding team in the league. But it's been Cleveland here in this game, especially late, that has done the job on the offensive board.
Stacey King carried it, but they didn't call it. He gets the hook shot to bank in. It is a 5-point Cavs bulge.
Now, the Chicago offense just not smooth at all. One thing that they don't have with B.J. Armstrong on the floor is a guy at that point guard spot that can penetrate and create shots for people.
Posting Hot Rod Williams against Stacey King. Wilkins got Jordan airborne, but Jordan came back and got him with the foul.
I'll tell you what, Gerald Wilkins likes this challenge. We've talked about how he talked in the papers and on all of the news shows about how well he plays Michael Jordan, the self-appointed defensive specialist, as Gerald Wilkins will put it.
Well, you know, a lot of people thought when and the Cleveland Cavaliers got a steal of Gerald Wilkins, too, as they signed him as a free agent. They thought he might be the missing link in the puzzle because all roads in the East go through Chicago, and they just thought he might have a little bit better map than the other guys. He does play Michael Jordan very well, but as you said at the beginning of the game, that's everybody's problem. Cavs 31-25, timeout on the floor with 7:03 remaining in the first half. Cavaliers have held the Bulls to 25 points, only 5 points in this quarter in 5 minutes with 7:03 to go to halftime.
Well, what they've done so well, Bob, is they've gotten to the offensive boards here. Now watch how they knock the ball around, and they finally get it to go. Cleveland with 7 offensive rebounds in this game. Good work by Wilkins, and the three-point shot is finally going to go down from the outside. Danny Ferry, who did not play in Game 5, a little bit surprised that he was not used in Game 5 of that first series, steps up and makes the three-point shot.
Lenny Wilkins told us that Danny Ferry is still definitely a part of his 9-man rotation, but as you get deeper into the playoffs, sometimes the 9-man rotation gets down to 8 and then 7, and you go with whoever's matching up well in a particular game, and he decides that Ferry can match up pretty well against Chicago. Wilkins takes forever for the free throw.
Yeah, I think you really have to look at matchups to understand when Danny Ferry can best be used. In this game, he could match up with Scott Williams because Scott Williams not real quick.
Pippen, the open man, he shot that very poorly. It went off Cleveland. Chicago ball with a new shot clock.
Chicago 4 of 13 in this second period, 13 of 32 for the game. So they are not shooting the ball well. Phil Jackson has used up 3 timeouts already in this game and a 20.
Pippen's 2 of 5. Stacey King backing in on Williams. Williams, good shot blocker, but King's left hand is giving him some problems, giving Rod Williams some problems, as Stacey King's an excellent left-handed shooter down on the block.
Well, if they can get some good quality minutes out of him, just because a lot of times Cleveland will go small, that gives them an opportunity to use Stacey King.
6 seconds to shoot. Danny Ferry goes down in a heap. Gerald Wilkins buries the 3. Danny Ferry played the part of a pulling guard in football there and opened up the play for Wilkins, who buried it. Cavs 35-27. Paxson cuts it to 6. Good series for Paxson against Atlanta. Remember, his right knee is really bothering him. It's really bone on bone. He never knows when it's going to act up, so he's very fragile health-wise.
Yeah, and I thought it finally caught up with him in Game 5. Offensive foul.
Hot Rod Williams got that arm and shoulder down, and Stacey King goes down, and the foul called against Hot Rod Williams. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Jack Givens and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game.
Yeah, Paxson had been playing very well. He started out that series playing great, had 12 points in Game 1 and looked very, very good. In Game 3, he did not score in 12 minutes, and I think it goes back to that problem you talked about. He's having trouble with his knee, and he just was not moving as well in Game 3.
Jordan backing in. There's the double team. Ferry comes off top, but Michael goes over the double team, off the glass, and has 10 points.
Hung up there over 2 defensive players and got it to go.
Sanders, a little bit problem handling the ball against Scottie Pippen. Sanders all the way to the hoop.
Pippen never did catch up. No help came from the weak side, and that was about as easy as Mike Sanders is going to get.
Jordan at the free throw line, kicks it to Paxson. How many times have we seen that?
Brings back memories of last season.
Cavs by 4. Wilkins. Rebound, Stacey King. Danny Ferry reached in and grabbed him, and he'll be called for the foul.
I think that right there is what Chicago wants out of Cleveland. You see the faster pace here the last couple minutes. Chicago has been able to get back in the flow, get things back on the pace that they like. They forced a quick shot that time, and that is Chicago's style.
Now Mark Price, Sanders, Nance, Doherty, Wilkins on the floor for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Leading by 4, 4:33 to go in the half. 5 seconds to shoot for Paxson. Jordan against Wilkins. The lean in. He's fouled. And he'll go to the line.
Well, he sat back as long as he could and waited to see if his other guys were going to get it going. As I say, he has the ability to take over, and he'll have spurts where he might score 15 points in a row for Chicago. And this is one of those spurts as he's been able to take over this game.
Cavs by 2. Jordan can cut it to 1. Jordan has hit his last 4 field goals, now has 12 points. 3 times in the last 6 years of playoff games, Jordan has scored 50-plus against Cleveland.
But he had about 67 against the Cavs in one game.
Doherty draws 3. Price left open. Hits the 3. That'll be good for the confidence of Mark Price.
Yeah.
He has 2 triples in this game. 4 for 4 from the field. Jordan so high for that jump shot. It rolls out of there, and Doherty gets the rebound to Mark Price. Cavs up by 4. Price losing control. Good pass from Doherty. Nance misses the jump hook. Grant is down again. Let's see if he's all right. He's limping.
Yeah, he's limping very, very badly right now. And I just don't know how much he's going to be able to go. An effort here that is unbelievable by Grant. He went down early in this game, turned that ankle completely over to the side, and you see how badly he's limping in this.
You know, it's tough on the Bulls when Michael Jordan goes down hard with an injury. He's right back in and playing, and the rest of the team tries to do likewise, except they are not Superman.
I don't know that there's anyone in the league that can respond as quickly as Michael can, and he'll take this right onto the hole, I would imagine.
Pass Nance.
Yeah. I mean, he understands the mismatch very, very well, and of course he's going to use his quickness, take it right to the hole.
That last Cleveland foul, by the way, was on Sanders, and Sanders is now playing with 3 personals. Michael Jordan has 15 points. 16 on the shot clock for the Cavs. Hot Rod Williams will be in the game. When we return, there's a timeout on the floor with 2:56 to go in the first half. Cavs by 2 in possession of the ball.
Well, recognizing the mismatch, that's what it's all about right here. Larry Nance waiting for some help to come and just doesn't. Michael sees that and says, yes, this is going to be easy. Takes it right to the hole. Has no problem scoring that time. Of course, Nance doesn't want to be out there left alone against Michael Jordan. Not many people do, but of course the size advantage going to Michael. Of course, Grant struggling on those ankles. Went up for this rebound right here, actually the block attempt, and Nance is going to come down on his other ankle. So he's hurting on both of them right now.
Too bad he doesn't have 3 wheels, huh? 2 flat tires. Mark Price with a penetration and foul from B.J. Armstrong. That is his second. Coming up at halftime, the Reebok Halftime Report with Ernie Johnson Jr. in our Atlanta studios. Bucks head coach Mike Dunleavy's in there, as you saw at the beginning of the game. Also, Craig Sager will have a report from Phoenix on that Spurs-Sun matchup, which will follow this game, and we'll announce the NBA all-defensive team coming up at halftime. Could Michael Jordan be on that team? Lob into Williams.
Yet another reason why Chicago does not want to switch that pick and roll. John Williams set the screen, got down to the low post. Michael Jordan did a real good job on him for a while, but the pass back out to the top, hit down low very quickly, and Williams picks up the foul. Now, he's not a real good free throw shooter. He makes that one.
Interestingly enough, he's been shooting free throws well in the playoffs. He's 12 of 13 until he stepped up the line here, but proving your point, he goes for a donut. 41-38 Cavs, 2:34 remaining in the first half of play from Chicago Stadium. Bob Neal and Jack Gibbons with you. Michael Jordan this time doesn't get it to go. Michael's playing with 15 points. Chicago started with an 8-0 run. Cleveland came back with a 19-6 spurt when Grant first injured his right ankle. And he's led since.
Now you see Michael Jordan now chasing Mark Price. A little bit more size makes it a little bit more difficult for Price to see over, but he finds Nance that time.
The amazing thing here is the Bulls have been able to score only 38 points with only 2 minutes to go in the half. Stacey King against Doherty. Good matchup here. Let's see how Doherty does. The open man is Grant from 17.
Grant seems to always be there when they need an outlet. They need to find an open man. Grant always goes to the open place on the floor.
Be interesting to see how Grant's ankle does when they rest at halftime. Mark Price gets B.J. Armstrong airborne, and B.J. now has 3 fouls trying to defense Mark Price.
Well, the good thing about it, if you want to try to find a positive there, is that Paxson played well while he was out there playing for B.J. Armstrong. He's going to be called on here. You might see Michael Jordan play Mark Price more here, with Price running now and doing a good job of penetrating and finding the open man.
Minute 30 to go in the half. Both teams will be in the penalty. Steal by Stacey King as he stepped around Brad Doherty.
King is giving him good minutes, real good minutes here.
Elo on Jordan. The lean in and the foul. Elo says, hey, he leaned into me. And Frank O'Donnell said, hey, it's Michael.
That's Michael. What are you going to say? Elo had to play Michael, of course, before Gerald Wilkins. Elo would average a bunch of minutes every time these two teams played, and you could really tell the difference late in the ball game. When Michael would get it going, Elo would become fatigued, as you can imagine, chasing Michael around. He does not have to play Michael nearly as many minutes now with Gerald Wilkins on this team.
I did that game a couple of years ago in Cleveland when Craig Elo said, I think I finally found a way to limit Jordan. That was the night Jordan got 69, which is his career high. Tipped out by Pippen, 19 on the shot clock, Cleveland ball.
The problem on that play, John Williams with the dribble put it down with the hand closest to the defense. Pippen, all he had to do was just step down and come up with that.
Hot Rod Williams got the offensive board, then lost it. Under a minute. Chance for the Bulls to take the lead. Jordan is fouled. He can give him the lead at the free throw line.
Yeah, he's feeling it right now. Give Chicago credit. They're finding him. They're looking for him every time down right now.
That's 2 on Williams. Well, when he twisted that ankle in Atlanta in Game 3 of that playoff series, everybody from Commissioner David Stern, who was there, to the television networks, to people in foreign countries all over the world went,
yeah. So what, the folks at the Omni gave him a standing ovation, but that was not the only place around the NBA that they were standing and cheering when Michael came back in the game.
6-0 run for Chicago. They lead it by 1 with 44 seconds to go in the half. Mark Price regains the lead for the Cavs.
Puts it up. Chicago gets a quick shot up right here. They can get 2 for 1.
Mark Price out of that slump in this game.
Michael puts it up. It's short.
Tipped in by Stacey King. Or was that Scott Williams? Give it to Scott Williams, his first basket.
This series is going to come down to the team that does the best job on their defensive boards.
Foul against John Paxson. Mark Price, a 91% free throw shooter, will go to the line.
You'll see Paxson try to get over here, just not quite there, and Mark Price draws the foul. We'll get a couple free throws.
Price has 13 points in this ball game and is apparently out of the slump. You know, Mike Dunleavy and Ernie Johnson told you before the ball game that Mark's dad, Denny Price, who just retired as head coach at Phillips College, and his coach Mark since he was a young kid, has come into Chicago to maybe help him work through the shooting slump. He must have said something right.
Well, I don't know who put the call in to Dad. I don't know if Mark did or if just The press talking about it all over the country, the fact that Mark had not been shooting the ball very well, but he got in the car, drove 14 hours from Enid, Oklahoma, got in here, worked with his son today and some yesterday, and looks like he's shooting the ball a whole bunch better right now.
Price is 16 out of 17 from the free throw line in the playoffs. Jordan against Elo. Not this time. Rebound Nats. That's the end of the first half with the Cavaliers holding on for a one-point lead in a very low-scoring affair at Chicago Stadium. We'll see how Horace Grant's ankle is when we return. After these commercial messages, we'll be joining Ernie Johnson Jr. and Mike Dunleavy in Atlanta.
They have played 24 minutes at Chicago Stadium. This doesn't look like the same Cleveland team that struggled past New Jersey. They're up 47-46 over the Chicago Bulls. This is the Reebok Halftime Report. I'm Ernie Johnson. This is Mike Dunleavy, the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, a guy who is just itching to get at the telestrator and show us exactly what the Cleveland Cavaliers are doing right here, Coach.
Well, first of all, in the first half, a couple of times, Cleveland ran pick-and-roll plays out on the wing with Craig Elo and Brad Daugherty. Chicago felt their best defense against this play was to switch it. And you see you have Elo coming over the pick, Brad Daugherty going to the basket versus the smaller man. Bill Cartwright jumping out on Craig Elo. Elo sees this mismatch, lets Daugherty take the man into the low post. He picks up his dribble. Cartwright does a good job of crowding him. The weak side sees it. Larry Nance flashes up to give him release versus the pressure. Elo sees him coming, makes the pass to the top to Nance. Nance then gives a look into the low post to Daugherty versus the smaller man. Puts the pass right on the money and lets Brad Daugherty go to work and score an easy 2 points against the Chicago Bulls.
You see the position that Big BD has in there, and he doesn't miss many of those. Now, when Bill Cartwright went out in foul trouble, that changed things, too.
It certainly did. Will Perdue versus Brad Daugherty means the Chicago Bulls have to double team. When Bill Cartwright was in the game, there were no double teams, and therefore no scores out of Brad Daugherty in the first quarter. Now, the ball goes into the low post to Daugherty versus Perdue. You'll see Horace Grant take a look over there. He sees the coverage. He sees it's a mismatch. Now he sets. He goes from the weak side baseline, hoping Brad Daugherty will not see him. And Nance, seeing the double team, cuts right underneath the basket, which forces Michael Jordan to go help out there. Elo, being a smart player he is, stretches the defense, comes up to the three-point line, where Daugherty, the best passing big man in the game, finds Elo for a weak side three-pointer that Michael Jordan cannot get to.
Craig Elo knocking down the three. Now, in our pregame show, we talked about Mark Price, and we said, hey, no, this guy's got to turn it up, and he had his dad to help him. 14 points.
Shot doctor must have helped him. He did a terrific job as far as, you know, putting the points on the board for the Cleveland Cavaliers and getting some of that confidence where he's primed to have a tough series.
Michael Jordan leading all scorers with 19 in the first half, but it's the Cavs 47-46 at the break. And when the Reebok Halftime Report continues, we'll take a look ahead at the San Antonio-Phoenix series. A report from Craig Sager, and when we come back. The Cavs. Game 2 of our doubleheader tonight will be San Antonio and Phoenix. Those teams met in the first round last year. Phoenix swept them 3-0. David Robinson couldn't play because he had a bad hand. Well, this time, things figured to be somewhat different. Here's Craig Sager.
Last year, San Antonio's battle in the Valley of the Sun was a lost cause. With a fallen leader and an interim coach, they were swept in 3 straight. But that's history. This year, David Robinson is back and surrounded by fresh troops. He and the Spurs are ready to take on the Suns with their new leader, Charles Barkley.
With his unique blend of strength, power, finesse, and showmanship, Barkley can terrorize opponents. And although the Spurs do respect his ability, with 8 players at 6'8" or above, they do not fear his presence.
I think with Charles Barkley, we'll match up with Antoine Carlin, J.R. Reed, Terry Cummings some, and then if he really gets out of hand, we'll have to put the Admiral over there.
Basically, I'm going to try to keep him from getting the ball myself. You know, try to front him a little bit every now and then and keep changing up on him. Never give him the same look more than once. Just always change up on him. If you can do that and then make him work on the defensive end, then you might be able to get him out of his role a little bit.
Well, he's tough. You know, Barkley is he's the best. I think he's the best power forward in the league. And, you know, you're never going to stop him completely. You just have to try to slow him some and make the other guys hurt you.
But Charles is one of those players, you know, he's so talented, passing the ball, dribbling the ball, you know, getting inside. You just got to kind of limit him.
I think the ultimate matchup for me, they're going to have David guard me a lot. They have the last couple games we played them, because I had some success early in the season. But the last couple games, they put David on me. And the tall left-handed guys give me a lot of trouble, as Kevin McHale, Edmund Campbell, and David. So that's what I got to try to offset. And Paul just did some different things, give me the ball at the top of the key and out on the floor more instead of trying to post up.
Charles and I know each other, and we have this real competitive drive against each other. I think when we play each other, it goes up to a new level. You know, Charles likes to talk a lot before the game, and I don't like to talk a lot before the game, but we get each other fired up. And so when he sees me coming, we both know we're going to have to put our nose to the grindstone and go at it.
Now, while the Suns took 3 of the 4 meetings in the regular season, check out these numbers. Barkley's production dropped. Robinson's went up in the head-to-head meetings. And Mike Dunleavy, what does that tell us about this?
Well, that tells us that Phoenix has 2 other all-stars on that team. They have Dan Marley at the 2 or 3 spot, and you have Kevin Johnson at the point guard spot.
That figures to be a pretty good battle right there. Avery Johnson on Kevin Johnson.
It's a major matchup. The next best one to watch. You have Avery Johnson, who has quickness, Kevin Johnson, who's got quickness. That may not be able to match up. They may have to go to a bigger Willie Anderson at the point guard spot to try and force KJ to shoot the ball from the outside.
And at 6'8", he's got the court vision. He is an effective point guard, played it in college. That is Game 2 of our doubleheader. Game 1 of that series, the Western Conference semifinals. The Phoenix Suns playing host to the Spurs later tonight on TNT.
There's a question there because of Michael Jordan playing the game, but I think Rodman is the most versatile defender because he can play both guards, forwards, even at times centers. The
all-defensive team was announced today. Let's take a look at the starting 5. These guys will D it up, won't they? Jordan, Olajuwon, Pippen, Dumars, and Dennis Rodman. A couple of Bulls on there in Chicago. What do you think about the defensive job these guys have done so far in the first half against Cleveland?
Well, they've done a nice job. First of all, they've kept them out of transition, try to keep them from getting easy shots. But the key, I think, has been more Bill Cartwright, because against single coverage, it's kept the good shooting Cavaliers from getting wide open looks.
Chicago down by 1 at halftime. It's 47-46 Cleveland. We'll take you back to Chicago Stadium for the 3rd period right after this.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok, who reminds you that on Planet Reebok, there are no limits.
Chicago jumped out to an easy 8-0 lead at the start of this ball game, hitting 5 of their first 6 shots, but Cleveland came back with a 19-6 run in the second quarter, coming closely after Horace Grant turned his ankle, even though Horace Grant came back and played the rest of the way, and then held on narrowly to a 47-46 lead. And I'd say the only thing that's really news here is Cleveland held Michael Jordan to 19 points in the first half.
Well, you know, Michael's going to get his points, as he does always, but I think what was real important about this first half for the Cavs is that they did not allow Michael to get a whole bunch of shots at the basket. He shot a high percentage, but you'll see right here, Cleveland was going to pick their opportunities to double team. They did, and Michael did. That's what Michael's going to do. He scored anyway. I mean, it might be better just to let him go. 19 points, 7 of 16 shooting for Michael.
And go with those 3 steals. He also had 1 blocked shot. Now, one of the things that's been a difference in this first half has been Cleveland's intensity on the offensive glass.
Well, we talked about the fact that Chicago gets to the offensive boards a lot. Just watch this work here by the Cavaliers. They're going to get as many shots as it takes. Gerald Wilkins comes out of nowhere to get this one. He's going to throw it out, and the real plus about this is they finally end up getting a 3-point shot to go down by Danny Ferry. His only basket off the bench, but he gets some 3 points right there.
Cleveland led the NBA in field goal, free throw, and 3-point shooting all season. First team in history to do it, but they've been held to 46% here in the first half. But the key stat there is they got 8 offensive boards.
Yeah, and they've gotten 13 points off of those offensive rebounds, and if you can continue to do that, it's going to make that low percentage much less of a factor in this game. Brad Daugherty has had just 5 shots at the basket, so Chicago, with their double teams on him, have done a real good job. Mark Price stepped up his game, made 5 of 6 from the field, 2 3-point baskets. in that first half.
Mark has 14 at the half. Price and Elo at the guards for Cleveland. B.J. Armstrong and Jordan for Chicago. B.J. Armstrong fell down. That gave Price a chance to penetrate, but they reverse it anyway.
Well, they finally get some help on Price as he comes from the weak side.
Elo misses the scoop shot. Rebound Bill Cartwright. Cartwright played the first quarter, set out most of the second with 2 fouls. Stacey King came in and played well off the bench for him. Jordan has 21.
Well, I'm going to say this understanding what it means, but that's just too easy for Michael Jordan. I mean, he makes a lot of them look easy, but you have to run at him to try to force him to give it up. You can't allow him to work one-on-one.
Sanders kicks it to Elo. The three-point attempt rims out, and Bill Cartwright gets another rebound. Cartwright has 5 now. Jordan from long range. Oh, my. 23 for Michael.
Well, I don't know how Sanders got caught on him that time outside, but that's not the matchup you want if you're Cleveland.
4 straight Chicago points to take a 3-point lead in this game. Jordan saying, bring on Wilkins. I'm going to do this until I see Gerald out here. 23 of Chicago's 50 points have been scored by Michael Jordan. That foul on Pippen is first.
Well, he finally got turned on working against Gerald Wilkins. I thought Wilkins did a pretty decent job on him, but Michael finally got it going.
Elo drains that one for 2 just inside the 23-foot line. It's a 1-point Bulls lead. Bob Neal, Goose Gibbons with you from Chicago Stadium. Cartwright left all alone after Doherty came out for the double team. Missed the jump hook. Doherty outlets to Elo. Mark Price yelling for the ball. Elo couldn't see him.
He's been wide open. And then you end up getting a turnover here.
Jordan. Grant with the offensive board. Knocked away by Mark Price and out of bounds. It'll belong to Chicago.
You see the pace right here very much to the liking of Chicago. And, of course, for some reason, you keep getting these mismatches with Michael Jordan having the ball in his hand. A couple times already in this third period, Mike Sanders has been the guy that has been matched up, and Grant just can't go. I mean, you see him shaking his head going to the bench, and he is probably going to have to sit the rest of this one out.
Grant twisted his ankle late in the first quarter when he came down on the foot of Sanders, went out, got a retaping job, tried to play, but you can see, as Goose told you, the pain on his face.
Well, he was effective.
Yeah.
But, you know, you just can't go, especially when you're sitting there in the locker room during the half.
B.J. Armstrong missed the jumper. Price fell down. They tipped it back out to B.J., and he didn't miss 2 times in a row. It's a 3-point Bulls lead.
Well, in addition to everything else, you don't want to start giving up the second shot opportunities. Now look at that defense now.
Mark Price found nobody to pass it to, missed the jump shot. Cartwright with his 3rd rebound in this quarter. Jake O'Donnell with the whistle.
You know, it's one thing when you convert defensively. You want to definitely get back, but you want to try to get back guarding your guy. And for Cleveland so far, they haven't been able to do that. Nice block.
Goaltending called on Larry Nance. That foul, by the way, that's restarted the possession for Chicago was on Mike Sanders, who is now playing with 4 personals.
Let's see, once again, Sanders gets back, and he gets caught in the paint guarding Bill Cartwright. A couple of times he's gotten back, and he's had to be matched up against Michael Jordan, so he's been at mismatches this whole third period.
Goes hard to the hoop, but he misses the jump hook.
One shot at the basket every time for Cleveland now.
And this is the result. Pippen misses the jam, out of bounds.
Now this is the first spurt and burst of energy that I've seen from Scottie Pippen this whole game. He goes up aggressively, tries to take it to the hole. Elo right there, nice defensive play. Looked like Elo came down awkwardly on that knee, but he's up and all right.
Pippen says his ankle's okay, but I've talked to several people here in Chicago who say it is not okay. I think you can see that it's not.
I'll tell you what, it's just not the time of the year to let something like that slow you down. I mean, he's saying that it's not bothering him because of the time of year it is. I mean, this is the playoffs. An injury has to find a way. You have to find a way to put those injuries in the back of your mind. Pippen, you have to give him a lot of credit. He's done that, but obviously he's not moving like the Scottie Pippen we've seen for the last 3 years or so.
8:23 to go in the quarter. Another Mark Price turnover. 54-49, Bulls by 5. That's 9 Cleveland turnovers in this game. Usually a good team in taking care of the ball.
They turned the ball over more in that series with the New Jersey Nets as well.
B.J. Armstrong gets past Price. Williams the open man.
That's nice. That's nice movement. And as I say, with B.J. Armstrong on the floor, you have a guy that can penetrate, a guy that's going to create shots for people.
Lenny Wilkins wants a timeout, but Cleveland can't even get that called. Up court they come. Wilkins says, never mind now. Now they get the timeout. That wasn't even easy. Nothing coming easy for Cleveland at the moment as they trail by 7.
And with Michael Jordan, you just simply have to try to run some help at him. You'll see him just take Craig Elo off the dribble right here. Look, no one gets to him. No one makes a real strong attempt to block the shot. Nothing that makes him change it up. And then watch right here. Mike Sanders once again matched up against Jordan. The first time he took him right to the hole. This time Sanders has to back off. Jordan just pulls up, shoots the jump shot. He'll win that matchup every time.
Let's see what Cleveland does coming off the Lenny Wilkins timeout. Shot clock down to 7. Pippen giving Wilkins all kinds of fits. Elo for 3. They didn't get anything off of that timeout play.
No, the Cavs are 1 of 6 in this period from the field.
Bulls by 7. Their biggest lead in this ballgame has been 8, and that's true for both teams.
Now there's the double team. Force Michael to give it up. I mean, that's what you have to do. You run at him. He's trying to look for someone, and for the first time, they force him to turn the ball over.
Michael Jordan had a little chat with Scott Williams about keeping his eye on the ball. 7:08 to go in the third quarter. Elo left alone at 18 feet.
You make those outside jump shots against Chicago, forces that defense to spread out, and it makes it a whole lot easier to get Brad Daugherty some shots down low.
Scott Williams against Larry Nance. Good pass into B.J. Armstrong. 58-51 Chicago. Expect Hot Rod Williams to get in this game soon. Can play some interior defense. Elo on the drive is fouled.
Now Pippen's going to pick up the foul there. They're talking to Paul Mihalik about that. They thought Pippen made the clean block on that one. Anytime you get to the hole, though, and the guy reaches around from behind, you're going to get the foul called against you. But they're not going to say Elo was in the act of shooting. I'm surprised about that. I thought he was taking the ball to the hole.
3 team fouls on the Bulls, only 1 against the Cavs this quarter. In case you're keeping score at home. Daugherty. Nice pass inside to Nance. It rims out of there.
Well, they are
comes Armstrong.
Flat handling Nance in this game.
Pippen kicks it back out. Armstrong hits a 2-pointer. They're giving him 2 points for that. He stepped on the line with his little teeny tiny toe.
Yeah, he must have had just the thread of his shoe on the line.
PJ has 10 in this ballgame. Bulls are going to get some full court pressure now.
I thought he stepped back and measured that one up pretty well.
Here's the trap. Everybody's nightmares when you see Pippen and Jordan on.
That is a tough trap to beat. They handled it that time.
Bulls with their biggest lead of the game, up 9. Wilkins beats Jordan off the dribble. Nice move by Gerald Wilkins to cut the lead to 7.
Jordan going for the steal that time, trying to reach from behind. Once again, the rotation not there. Of course, when you have the ball out at the top of the key, playing a guy straight up, it's hard to get help.
Nance with the foul reaching around Scott Williams. That's his first.
Now watch Wilkins from the top of the key. Michael's going to reach from behind. From that position, it's difficult to get help. The strong side of the court has not been established, and Wilkins just takes the ball right to the hole.
The third quarter has been devastating for Chicago opponents. The Bulls just come out and hammer you in the third quarter. Jordan's turnaround, not this time. Daugherty with the rebound. Cavs can cut it to 5 with 5:25 to go in the fourth. Wilkins, penetration, gets it back from 18. Cartwright out to B.J. Armstrong. Has to beat Price. He'll pull up. He came down. They don't call it. Jordan. Pippen missing another jam. Mark Price gets the loose ball as Nance hits the floor. Cleveland on the run. Doherty and the foul.
Well, see, Pippen wanted the foul. He was frustrated that he didn't get the call on the other end. Came back, and now he's going to get rounded up for the technical foul. He wanted the call on the other end as he took the ball to the basket. Nance, I think it was, stepped in, made the nice defensive play, which started the fast break.
Technical foul.
And he picks up the tee in addition to the foul.
The technical on Scottie Pippen. Paul Mahalik explaining that to Mark Price, who will shoot it. He's the best free throw shooter in the NBA. Mark Price was 2 for 2 in the first half.
He is second all-time in playoff free throw percentage. Now you'll see the move to the basket right here. Pippen comes in from behind and commits the foul on Brad Daugherty, who will have a free throw. And as I say, he was very, very upset, very frustrated that he didn't get the call from the other end. On the other end, Phil Jackson's going to get him out. They can't afford to lose him in this game.
Pippen has been struggling throughout the playoffs. He struggled against Atlanta. It didn't really matter there because the Bulls won so handily in that series. Doherty sinks the free throw off the foul. And the Cavaliers were down by 9, have cut the lead to 3. They're on a 6-0 run.
Pippen averaged 11 points in that series. Excuse me, had 11 points in game 3, averaged 15 points in the series.
Quick whistle from Paul Mahalik, and that's the third foul on Gerald Wilkins. Trying to hold Jordan on the dribble. Now 14 fouls on the Bulls. 3 have been called against the Cavs.
He's doing a good job. He's going to have to get some help, though. And you see how Chicago just spreads the floor.
Ball knocked out of bounds. 16 on the shot clock. It'll belong to Chicago. Michael talking to Gerald Wilkins. Love to have a microphone on that right now.
I don't know if we could have a microphone on that.
Not this time. Wilkins gets a rebound. Score 1 for Gerald.
Tell you what, he's doing a good job. He has good body position. Good body position against Michael. Just not letting him get the advantage one way or the other.
Wilkins rims out the three-point attempt. That would have tied it. Cartwright to Jordan.
That's the time, the first time Wilkins has allowed Michael to just step around him. Very easy that time. You know, you just can't go hard all the time chasing Michael. Gerald breathing very, very deeply right now.
Michael Jordan has 27 points. That's what he averaged in the regular season against Cleveland, which is 5 below his league-leading average to win the scoring title, his 7th. Here's Michael the last time he had the ball. You see Gerald Wilkins looking at him right in the belly button.
Now watch him right here. Now you see Gerald just back on his heels that time. Lets Michael make the quick move towards the baseline. Didn't get the help that time. And Michael just kisses that one off the glass.
Bulls by 5. 5 on the shot clock. Price from way downtown. The shot clock was running down. Saved by Ferry, but out of bounds. Chicago Bulls. 3:38 to go, third quarter. Bulls came out, built a 9-point lead in this quarter because they can really hammer you in the third after the halftime adjustments. They've done it to opponents all year long. Cavs stopped bleeding, pulled within 3, now are down 5.
And normally what they do in the third period, and the reason why they run off a bunch of points in the third period, is they come with the full court pressure. There's Gerald Wilkins. I mentioned he was getting just a little fatigued. He is sitting down. But Chicago comes with the full court pressure. They run Michael Jordan and Pippen at you. They force a lot of turnovers. They get a lot of points off of that defense.
Armstrong on the switch gets away with a shot. Ferry with the rebound. 3 on 2. Boy, does Chicago get back fast. All 5 got in the paint and forces a Cleveland turnover.
Well, see, I talk about recognizing mismatches. That time, John Williams had Trent Tucker working against him. He was going down the post up instead of Danny Ferry, letting him do that. Ferry threw the ball out of bounds. The right move by Wilkins, not a good pass by Danny Ferry.
Offensive foul on Jordan. That's his third foul. 3:10 to go, third quarter. Cleveland trailing by 5. Mark Price on the drive, falls down. Floor looks a little slip tonight. We've seen several people falling, but there is no ice under here. The Blackhawks eliminated from the playoffs, so there's no reason for any condensation, but there have been several players down during this game. 3 on Cartwright now.
Brad Daugherty has not had many shots in this game. He is 4 of 6, just 6 shot attempts so far. The double teams have been coming very aggressively against Brad. They have forced him to give the ball up.
Plus the Bulls bring those centers at you in waves. You know, Cartwright and Purdue came in and didn't do such a good job on him in this ball game. Then Stacey King, they can go to King, and King came in and gave him some good minutes. If King didn't work, they can switch Scott Williams over to center.
Yeah, they've got a lot of people 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot tall. They can keep running them at you, but they had a real concern about Brad Daugherty coming into this series. That's the one matchup they had a whole lot of problems with. They worked a lot doubling up, and Brad's just not touched the ball very much.
Bulls by 3. Cartwright goes to the left hand. Daugherty with the rebound. Cleveland to pull to within 1 or better on this possession. Bulls built a 9-point lead in this quarter. Cartwright playing with 3 fouls. Good spin move.
Nice.
The dish.
Nice pass. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. The help came from the baseline side. If your man leaves to help out, make the sharp move to the basket. And that's what Williams did that time.
A 10-2 run, and the Cavs have pulled to within 1 with 2:22 to go in the third quarter.
He's going to have the ball right here. Normally he takes it to the middle. That's where the help has been coming from. This time he's going to spin back towards the baseline. Scott Williams is going to come here for the double team. The pass is going to come as John Hot Rod Williams makes the cut to the basket, and that's going to lead to 2. But he had a lot of problems early handling this. Now let's see how this works. There it comes. The first time they've really been able to get a wide open shot as Brad handles the double team.
Even though Daugherty has only 6 shots, he does have 6 assists passing off of that double team. One of the better passing centers in the NBA.
Yeah, he averaged over 4.5 of those assists a game.
And the Chevrolet scoreboard. San Antonio Phoenix coming up next. Scoreless game so far since they haven't started.
It's like that every time before the game starts, isn't it?
It always seems to. Sometimes seems like Chicago has 5 or 6 before it starts.
I'll tell you what, their opposition sure feels that way. They can put the numbers up very quickly.
8 on the shot clock for the Bulls. Their 9-point lead has been whittled to
good ball movement, real good ball movement. They don't get the basket out of it.
Daugherty kept it alive for Ferry, out to Price. Pulls up for the 3, not this time. Williams doesn't get the dunk.
You just see the difference in this Chicago team with Grant on the bench. Not nearly as good an offensive rebounding ball club.
Tucker struggling from 3-point land tonight. He's not even been close on his 2 attempts.
He's had to rush every one. Cleveland doing a good job of running at him when they see him square up behind the line.
Cleveland looking to regain the lead in this ballgame. They led almost all of the second quarter.
Well, Scott Williams close to being illegal.
Bad pass, the no-look to Pippen, and Ferry had to foul him to keep a breakaway from going. And Grant and Paxson are going to get back in the game. Remember Horace Grant playing on a sore right ankle.
Well, I just didn't think Grant was going to be able to come back in. A great effort by Grant to at least give it another shot. He understands that they need something. Chicago needs a lift right now. And where he will help them, or maybe can help them, is on the offensive boards. He made a strong run at the offensive boards when he came back in after initially hurting that ankle.
Still gipping around there. Danny Ferry now guarding Horace Grant. Shot clock is down to 8. Cartwright way away from the hoop here. He's going to back in and take the jump hook.
One shot at the basket only for Chicago right now. That's why Cleveland has been able to get back in this game.
Danny Ferry wanted to take that long-range shot, but Pippen was in his face. Lenny Wilkins said, start it all over again. 10 on the shot clock.
Oh, look at Price using the screens.
To Hot Rod Williams.
Yeah,
good pass from Mark Price.
Well, he used the screens, came around there so quickly that it forced Paxson to follow him the whole way. The defense came out, and he found Williams.
Cleveland playing outstanding defense. They've held the Bulls to only 2 points in the last 6 minutes of this quarter.
Now, every time Michael Jordan goes out of game, that guy that made the basket has to step up. Pippen hasn't done it here tonight.
Bulls lead it by 1 now. 29 seconds to go in the quarter. That was hit by Tucker. That's why there was no turnover, and Price calls for timeout with 14 on the shot clock.
Yeah, smart play by Price. He saw the double team coming. Got the 20-second timeout call before he stepped out of bounds.
So Lenny Wilkins has his team playing very well against the Bulls here. Down by 1 with 23.5 to go in the third quarter. They withstood that Bulls barrage at the beginning of this quarter.
Well, it's nice watching the coaches work the officials. Now, Phil Jackson saw Lenny Wilkins step up and was calling for the foul. What did he do? Very quickly, he stepped up, called one of the officials, and said, no, he traveled before the foul came. So that takes the officials out of it right there. Both coaches working hard.
Jake O'Donnell, Jack Neese, Paul Mahalik are working this game tonight. 3 veterans.
Good crew. Good crew.
Look at that third quarter. Cavs only shooting 35%. Nevertheless, the offensive boards have been a real big story for Cleveland in this third quarter, and they have pulled to within 1 of the Bulls. And their defense, I might add. Ferry for 3.
Not a good shot. Just not a good shot. The quick shot coming that time. Danny Ferry was off balance. Had just stepped back in bounds. Almost a violation. Threw that up a little bit quicker than he had to.
10 seconds in the quarter. Pippen isolated out on Hot Rod Williams. Good defensive player, but doesn't really have the quick feet. Now to Paxson with 2. Off balance, doesn't go. Williams rebounds. So the Bulls trailed by 1 at the half, and now they lead by 1 going into the final 12 minutes in a relatively low-scoring second-round playoff game in Chicago. The Bulls led by 9 with 6 minutes to play in the third quarter. Then the Cavs went on a 12-4 run and have pulled to within 1. And I'll tell you something, you can kind of sense some confidence building in the Cavaliers here.
Well, I mentioned I think it was very important for Cleveland to take the full court away from Chicago, not allow them to get out on the break and get the easy baskets. They took that away, kept the score down to this point to where they wanted, and they have a shot here to win this.
Jordan back in for about a second and a half, and he has his 28th and 29th points of the night that quickly. Price off the screen on the baseline finds Ferry. He finds Elo. Bulls quickly there. Good rotation. Gordy runs it down with 5 on the shot clock. Ferry from 13.
Tough break for Danny Ferry.
Bulls by 3. Pippen.
Now that's the guy for Chicago, I think, that has to pick it up. They count on him so much for his offense.
Danny Ferry with the rebound. He has 4. Deflection from the Bulls. You get so many deflections as this team steps into the passing lane so well.
I'll tell you what, you have to give Chicago some credit, but some of the passes by Cleveland, and that's a good example right there, just have not been good, sharp passes, and you never try to throw an air pass through traffic. You put it on the floor, it makes it a whole lot easier to get through them.
There's Price off those baseline screens, and he comes right out into the face of a double team. Down inside to Williams. 2 on the shot clock. Williams waited too long. And he really popped Scott Williams.
Scott's doing a good job defensively. He's been hedging over there on the baseline to help out. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten at least one illegal defense call, as he is the guy that is assigned to help out on the weak side.
Bulls by 3, 10:43 to go in the ball game. Jordan being defended by Elo. They're isolating at the top of the circle. Elo grabs him. That'll be a foul on Craig. That'll be his first.
Now you'll see Williams on the other end. He's going to come over to help out, as he has been doing this whole game. There he is, just laying back there, forces a turnover, and there's the hit to the head. I'm surprised he's able to get up after that.
Elo to the bench, Wilkins in. He'll take his turn now on Michael Jordan.
They've been platooning those guys, trying to keep fresh legs on Michael as much as possible.
Takes him right past those fresh legs. From high above the basket, Michael just dropped it in like pebbles into a well.
My goodness.
Timeout, Gerald Wilkins. Bulls lead it by 5. 10:19 to go. They're on their feet at the Madhouse on Madison Street. But you see the Cavs outscoring the Bulls on second chances 15-12. Doherty being played tough in the post, but passing very well out of that. Speaking of second chance, Goose, take a look at Michael Jordan. Second chance after his slip here.
Well, you'll see him slip right here. Now, they don't play the double team, the pick and roll well at all. Now, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. I don't even know, Bob. Maybe you can get up and block that one. But not many people are going to block. Watch how high and how quickly he gets up off the floor. Brad Doherty caught between steps, could not go up, and he goes up over everyone, just lays that one in.
Goose, you're about Michael's size, and you've had a lot of playing time in the NBA. Have you ever seen anything like it, even closer?
Well, I have to tell you one thing. I played against the doctor.
Yeah.
And Dr. J, I played against some good ones. But the Doc could make you look bad as quickly as anyone else. Michael Jordan's right there, but Doc, of course, the toughest I ever had to go.
Wilkins spins into the lane, doesn't get the roll. Out of bounds on the baseline. Michael, by the way, has 31 of Chicago's 68 points. That's up approaching half of their points.
Well, I think his production normally goes up as Scottie Pippen's numbers are down, and Scottie's not played real well on the offensive end here. And a lot of action. They're going to score the bucket. And then Pippen picks up the foul. John Williams will get the free throw as the foul was called in the act of shooting.
Pippen's already been called for a technical, and now he has 4 personals. And we have 9:57 to go in this game, and Hot Rod Williams has been shooting free throws well in the playoffs. Normally struggles at the line, went over 2 earlier tonight.
Yeah, his numbers so over the course of the season really are up to 72%. That's probably a career high for him, and he got that one to go down. That one looks good.
A 3-point play as Price hit the basket, and Pippen fouled Williams, and now it's the Bulls by 2.
Good job by Gerald Wilkins that time. I mean, real good body position.
Stacey King, who came off the bench for an excellent performance in the second quarter, takes it to the hole again, and he is fouled.
See, when you're playing against the Chicago Bulls, the one thing that you want to protect against is another guy coming in and hurting you. This guy, Stacey King, has played very well. 3 of 3 from the field, 6 points. Now you say that's not a whole lot. I mean, why is 6 points that big a deal? What happens now is it gives you another guy on the offense that you have to be concerned with. It takes away the help opportunities that you would normally get from his man.
Price with an incredible lob down to Nance, who draws the foul. Price lobbed that ball, if you call it a lob, about 75 feet.
And Larry Nance, even at his advanced age, is that nice? he still is able to get up off the floor. He had to go up way high to get that one.
King called for the foul, his second. Nance to the line. Bulls leading it by 5.
Now he misses that one. Watch how high. Now first, watch the length of the floor. Price makes the 2-hand pass. Nance has to go way up to get that one. Fakes the screen at the shot and picks up the foul.
And give Stacey King credit for being there. Missed them both. Big misses. Cleveland, the best free throw shooting team in the NBA. Tonight, they are 11 and 14.
There's Scottie.
From to their feet in Chicago.
And a good use of the screen. A nice play that time by Chicago. The back screen freed him up, going to the basket, took away all the help from the weak side.
Bulls by 7, 9 minutes to go.
When Michael has that look on his face that he wants to play some defense, he'll try for a steal here.
10 on the shot clock. Wilkins from 18. Big bucket from Gerald Wilkins to quiet the crowd a bit. Gerald has 13. He's all over Jordan. Great job by Wilkins tonight. We just casually mentioned, though, that Michael does have 31. Isolated again. Double team got there late. Pippen dribbled it out of bounds.
It's just one of those nights for Scottie. He makes a nice play, and he's trying to get it going. I mean, he understands he has to be a key player down the stretch here, and he kicked that one away.
Pippen had 2 points in the first quarter, 3 points in the second, 2 points in the third, now only 2 here in the fourth. So he's been really limited. Isolation for Doherty, double team. Price with the foul.
Now, the reason why it's gotten tougher for Price right now is he has not had a field goal attempt in a while. And if he's not going to take the shot, that allows Paxson to just back up and become a nuisance to Brad Daugherty down low where Price is trying to get the ball. Look for him to shoot it the next time, at least to make the defense play him honestly.
8 minutes to go in this ballgame. Bulls lead it by 5. Jordan again isolated against Wilkins in the paint.
Now that patented shot came up short.
Stacey King kicked it all the way down the court where Paxson controls it.
And they didn't have possession of it. That's the reason why it wasn't called over and back. That's Stacey King working for you, though, as I mentioned. He becomes a factor now because he has some confidence offensively.
Slippery floor. Pippen goes down. 7 seconds to shoot. Pippen against Grant. Gerald Wilkins fell down. 3 seconds. Jordan. Oh, my. Seven-point Bulls lead. Seven minutes to go in the ballgame. Looking for Daugherty, but Stacey King all over him.
King playing it very well. And he's going to get called for the foul. Really did not have to hold off that time because Brad was leaning the other way when the pass came. He had this one kicked off and they were going the other way. Now watch, he's fronting. Now Brad's going to work to get open and then he's going to drop to the baseline side. Now you see Brad kind of leaning the other way. Stacey King picks up the foul. He's working hard.
75-68 Chicago. New shot clock for the Cavaliers. Looking for offense from somebody. Nobody has stepped up here in this second half. Terrell Brandon in for Mark Price. Nance from 18. Paxson, who's done such a heck of a defensive job, gets the rebound.
Larry Nance, another guy struggling for Cleveland, not shooting it well, 4 of 12.
Jordan is fouled by Wilkins. That'll be 4.
And Michael looked over at us and said, he can't guard me. He can't guard me.
75-68, timeout Cleveland. He awaits his game. Spurs and Suns will be next. Then tomorrow night, double bubble again. Charlotte at New York in Game 2. And Houston and Seattle, 2 of the most athletic teams in the NBA, at Seattle as we continue our coverage of the playoffs on TNT. Michael Jordan show here.
Well, what you're going to see here is a nice pass from Michael. What you do not see on this play is the screen that Stacey King put on Larry Nance to free up Scottie Pippen that time, and you saw the reaction. I mentioned Nance struggling in this game. He had 9 points in the first half, 6 here in the second period. Excuse me, the second half.
6:37 to go. The Bulls have held the Cavaliers to only 68 points. Now lead it by 8. Michael Jordan makes it 9. And Michael has 35.
Here's a look at that full-court pressure. Cleveland solves it very quickly that time.
Terrell Brandon off to Gerald Wilkins. Good ball moving. Terrell Brandon in for Mark Price now. Quick legs, quick hands. Brandon, excellent point guard for Cleveland. Could be starting for a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe another one of those KJ situations. Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson played behind Price. They moved him out to Phoenix and he turned into a star.
Jordan on the post draws a double team. Pippen is the man left alone. Rims it out of there. Scott Williams with the offensive rebound.
Williams and King.
They'll recycle it. 7 rebounds for Scott Williams in this game. Jordan's quick turnaround.
Oh, he's having fun. He's having fun. And every time he scores, he said, no, he can't guard me.
Michael now with 37. He has averaged nearly 39 per game in the playoffs against Cleveland.
Well, see, that's the problem when you make the kind of statements in the paper that Wilkins made about how well he's going to play Jordan in this series. I mean, that just gives him more reason to get fired up, and you just don't make those kind of statements this time of the year.
79-70, Bulls by 9, 5:20 to go in the game. Jordan has 10 in this quarter.
And I like Michael's reaction. He said, well, you know, I'll take the challenge. If he's going to come at me, just bring him on. I'll see what I can do. I mean, he has more confidence in this game. I can imagine.
Stacey King meets the finger roll. Pippen just hammers Brandon. He says, what do I have to do, bleed? It'll be Cleveland ball. 4 seconds and elapsed off the shot clock. Cleveland's still hanging around here, only down 9 with 4:59 remaining. And the Bulls are going to take their time and come up with some of that trap.
I think the trap right now is simply designed to try to slow Cleveland down, force them to use more time off the shot clock. They get a good shot at the basket this time.
And Hot Rod Williams is fouled.
And once again, what Cleveland is doing right now against the trap, once they get the ball into the front court, they're not sitting back waiting for the defense to catch up with it. They are going on in and attacking the basket. They got to lay up the time before. This time they get 2 free throws.
Both teams in the penalty the rest of the way with 4:50 to go. We'll be seeing a lot of free throws here.
That looks short and off.
Well, the Cavaliers' free throw shooting has really abandoned them tonight. The best team in the NBA at three-point shooting, field goal shooting, and free throw, and they are 11 of 16 in this game.
Shot 82% in that first round.
Jordan over 2 players. Michael is talking to the crowd, and the crowd is talking back. Bulls' biggest lead. Michael has 39.
And Terrell Brandon finally knocks one down from the outside.
That's a 2, by the way. 4:16 to go. Bulls by 9.
I'm just waiting to hear what Gerald Wilkins has to say after the game.
Wilkins picks up the foul, and that'll be number 5.
Number 5, about his ability to guard Michael. Maybe he should offer up an apology to Michael, and maybe that will take the emotion away that Michael seems to be playing on in accepting the challenge that Gerald Wilkins made to him.
I don't sense an apology.
I don't either. And it's just one game.
Michael has 40. That's 50%, right at 50%. 40 of the 82 Bulls points have come from the hand of Michael Jordan. Look at the difference. The Cavs really struggling. It's a reverse. The Bulls struggled all year long with free throw shooting. Cavs led the league, and the Cavs struggling here tonight. And it's definitely been a difference in this ball game. 11-point Chicago lead. Brandon's pull-up jumper. He's hit 2 consecutive perimeter shots.
You know, a lot of people questioned Lenny Wilkins after Game 5 as to why he did not play Terrell Brandon in the second half after Brandon had such a good first half in Game 5. Lenny told Terrell, I have to get my point guard, my starting point guard, Mark Price, ready for this next series. So he decided to go with Price. Price had a big game, and of course Terrell Brandon, understanding that, did not complain about his lack of playing time in the second half.
Now the 4th foul on Elo. So 9 fouls have been committed between Wilkins and Elo tonight, primarily guarding Jordan. This time King was the assaultee. 3:38 to go in the ball game. You don't get a sense now that the Cavs have the firepower to beat the Chicago defense in Game 1 of this Eastern Conference semifinal series. Coming up right after this game, the Phoenix Suns and the San Antonio Spurs in Game 1 of their Western Conference semifinals. Tomorrow, Game 2 of the Knicks and Charlotte will begin our doubleheader coverage for you. Houston and Seattle after that. Bulls by 11. Cavs looking for offense. I wonder if Gerald Wilkins will sleep well tonight. Unfortunately, that's the good news. The bad news is he'll have a nightmare about Michael Jordan.
He'll see Michael making the moves to the basket from the time he closes his eyes.
Brad Daugherty gets one of his rare shots in this game.
You talk about adjustments. One adjustment is going to have to be, for Cleveland, is going to have to be finding a way to get Brad Daugherty more shots at the basket.
Jordan slipping again, but just long enough to get the ball. He goes for the three and doesn't have it. Well, Brandon.
Brad Daugherty with just 7 shots in this game. He's made 5 of them, but he has to get up to around 15 shots.
This is a big possession here for the Cavaliers. 14 on the shot clock. Pippen knocked it out. They have pulled to within 9 of the Bulls. They're going to get a timeout on the floor. With 2:47 to go, this possession looks monumental for the Cavaliers. Gerald Wilkins said he thought he could stop Michael Jordan, or at least limit him. He's held him to 41 points.
Well, he's not done that all by himself, and that's what he'll say after the game. A lot of these points coming against someone else. Gerald thought he could do more of this. Force Michael to shoot the fall-away shot, the lower percentage shot. Instead, we've seen a whole bunch more of this. Michael Jordan using his quickness to get around him, the tongue dangling, as is the case normally when he goes to the hole. And look at the reaction. He's just shaking his head. No, you can't stop me, is what he is saying to Gerald Wilkins.
Jordan had 8 in the first, 19 at the end of 2, 27 at the end of 3, 41 now with 2:44 to go in the ball game. Cleveland scored only 16 points in the third. They've got 13 points only in this quarter. You see why. The Bulls, a frenzy of defense down inside.
Well, and normally what happens in a game like this, where Michael Jordan has it going on the offensive end of the floor, he comes down and he just gets reckless on the defensive end. I mean, he goes for every opportunity to come up with a steal. He goes for every opportunity for a block, because he knows once he does that, he gets out in the open floor and the crowd is going, they're loving it, and he just gets better and better playing off the crowd response.
Gerald Wilkins at the free throw line. What you can't see in your picture right now is Michael Jordan is selling popcorn.
Yep.
Signing autographs. Came over and chatted with us a little bit. He's helping with construction of the building next door. I think he's the foreman of the construction site. Stadium. He's, you know, going to, he's the primary consultant to the Mayor Daley here in Chicago.
He's doing it all.
Runs the transit system.
Tonight.
He's rebuilding the expressway from downtown out to the airport.
All of that has taken place since this game started.
The Cavs have pulled to within 7, 78-85 with 2:32 to go. So this game isn't over yet, but the Michael Jordan show, there have been 4 Bulls playoff games so far, and this is the most entertaining. It's almost as though he's on an exhibition.
Well, as I say, you read the stuff that was put in the paper, and Michael just took that as a personal challenge, really a personal insult that Gerald Wilkins said, I can handle Mike, I guard him better than anyone else in this league. And Michael has accepted it. He's come out and he's proven once again that he doesn't like reading that kind of stuff.
He has almost half of the points. The lob to Pippen, batted out of there by Gerald Wilkins. What a nice play by Gerald.
They're taking Gerald off of Michael for the time being. Greg Elo is the guy that you signed.
It was either that or therapy, huh? Now Wilkins blows by Williams with a big jam. That made Gerald happy.
And he says, take that.
He ran right to Michael Jordan to make a comment. You gotta love it. And meanwhile, the Cavs on a 6-0 run have pulled to within 5 of the Bulls. This game far from over with a minute 53 to go. However, it's going to end because of the lack of interior defense. Scott Williams with the no contest dunk.
That's what happens when you get so concerned with Jordan and Pippen.
Brandon Trapp. Big turnover. Bulls back to 7. And the ball with a minute 39 to go. The Cleveland Cavaliers have a look on their face. I don't know if I'm misreading it, but it's as though, what must we do with this basketball team? The regular season, Cleveland plays them both pretty well. Look out. Michael will go to the line on this one.
Very nice. He's going to pick up the foul. Every time the Bulls need a basket, they know where to go, of course. Michael Jordan, and he's been able to break down the defense way out on the floor.
3 times in his playoff career, Michael Jordan has scored 50-plus against this team. He has 42 points here tonight. 10 of 10 from the free throw line. I doubt he's going to break 50 in this game. When Mark Price sat down, by the way, you know, Mark had a good first half with 13 points, 14 points. He sat down late in this ball game and never came back in. The Bulls now lead it by 9 with 1:25 to go. Minute 25 remaining in the ball game. We told you that the Cavaliers held Michael Jordan to 5 points below his league-leading average, 27 a game. Career playoff total was nearly 39. Tonight, 43. He'll raise that up above 39 when you add that in.
This important possession for Cleveland. They need a bucket here.
Brandon, quick shot and answer the rebound. They were something downtown.
Yeah, they would like to get a three-point play here.
Doherty spins into the lane. It's a 7-point Bulls lead.
One of the few times he's been able to work without the double team coming at him.
Now Wilkins trying to work on Jordan full court. Knocked out of bounds by Cleveland. 17 on the shot clock. Minute 3 to go in the game. Jordan's 43 of the 89 Chicago points. Under a minute to go. These two teams stay here, play again Thursday night. We'll have it for you on TNT. Paxson missing. 45 seconds to go in the game. The Bulls by 7. 3 would be big here, but is anybody going to get it?
Well, Nance is going to get the open shot. He is not the guy to knock down the 3, but Nance does step up and make the big shot.
Cavs within 5, but only 35 seconds to go in the game. Too little, too late.
You might need to start thinking about fouling. And that might be a good guy to foul. I guess not. I guess they're not going to go for it.
Michael with that tongue out. He has had his way here tonight. Now Paxson.
Another good guy to foul right there. If you want to foul, I guess they're not interested in fouling here.
King misses. Williams jams. That's the punctuation mark with 11.8 to go. Despite Michael Jordan's show that he put on here tonight, the real story of this game has been the incredible Bulls defense. They have held the Cavaliers below 20 points in both the third and fourth quarter of this game. 16 in the third quarter and 19 in the fourth quarter. And the Bulls get a 91-84 lead. Michael Jordan gets 43 points, is going to join us tableside here. Maybe we can chat with him a little bit about the matchup he had with Gerald Wilkins as we make way for Michael to come over and have a seat. Michael, I'll let you get on this headset. You're getting used to this. The question, obviously, we want to talk to you about is your contest with Gerald Wilkins out there. I know he wasn't the only guy playing you. How about that? Are you on there?
Well, you know, Gerald's a great defensive player, and he's a competitor. And he came into the series knowing that he was brought to Cleveland for one reason, that was try to stop me and contain me as much as possible, which I respect him in that manner. But it's a challenge for me as well. So I look at it as a challenge. The Jordan stopper had a tough time tonight. He's going to be ready to come back the next game, but so am I.
Now, if you're, this is kind of a curveball question. If you're Cleveland, what do you do to adjust with you guys?
Well, you know, Cleveland's got to look at it. They were a little tired. They're coming off a 5-game series. I think the first game is more or less an evaluation of how the team is playing. And then the second game is the biggest key because you got to make adjustments. And Cleveland is a team that knows how to make adjustments. They're very, very smart. So, you know, we didn't play extremely well tonight, but, you know, we've been off for 7 days, and this is a good win for us.
Well, I thought with the fact that Cleveland held you to 5 points below your average over the season, over the regular season, that gave them encouragement. That's one reason I think Gerald Wilkins made that statement, but as is normally the case, you raised your play once again.
Well, this is the playoffs, and as a leader, you have to step in and cover the loopholes, and offensively, I had to carry that load for a while. So, you know, I did my best.
Ankles have been a problem. You had one in Chicago, Atlanta. Pippen's had his. How about Horace Grant? What's the story on him right now?
Hopefully Horace is going to come back. He's having a tough time with his ankles right now, but, you know, he's going to be a big, tough player for us. He'll be back.
Now, Mike, you talk about adjustments. What do you anticipate Cleveland making? And then in your team schemes, what adjustments do you might have to make?
Well, I think Price is going to be implemented into play a little bit. Doherty certainly going to try to defensively try to control me as much as possible.
Good game, Michael.
Michael Jordan with 43 points here tonight as the Chicago Bulls get the second round first game win, 91-84 over the Cleveland Cavaliers, and lead the series 1-0. Within 85-80 with 3 minutes to go, but hold on to Michael Jordan as usual as the Bulls lead in the series now. Michael with 43 points, 11 of 11 from the line. Be sure to stay with TNT now as NBA action continues next as the San Antonio Spurs take on the Phoenix Suns. Then tomorrow we'll have another doubleheader starting at 8 p.m. Eastern with the Hornets and Knicks, followed by the Rockets and Sonics. For Goose Givens, this is Bob Neal saying good night from Chicago.